the truth.
Hey, what's up? Oh, sorry, wrong show. I'm Jim Price, Jim Price Show Daily Update. Thank you guys so much for tuning in. The government always tells me the truth, so I'll look at the calendar to make sure I do exactly what they tell me to do. January 27th, it's a Tuesday, 2026. Did I do it right, government? All right, well, guys, thank you so much for being a part of the show. Good to see you. Thank you. Hey, Courtney got in here early. Like, she was on point. She even beat Edward in here. Eddie, I don't know, man. You got some competition out there, brother. You got to watch yourself. She's watching you. She's looking over your shoulder. She's like, hey, how do you do that? What are you doing there, Ed? What's going on? What's up there, Ed? What's going on? What's the news here? Huh? What's going on? Anyway, so good to see you guys. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And we will say that we are on Rumble, we are on YouTube, we are on Facebook, we are on Twitter, we are on D Live, we are on Twitch, we are on iTunes, we are on the interwebs. So good stuff. We do have our live feed going out here. Live. My live feed. Let's see here. We'll go live on that, and then that one's here, and then we're going to play that there, and that's live there. Oh, goodness gracious. Oh, and we are on YouTube, by the way. I forgot to put in there YouTube as well. YouTube. That's how it goes. Look at the circus. The circus is in town. What? Yeah. All right. So, by the way, yeah, go on over there to YouTube and give me a thumbs up on there, even if you don't watch it, or leave it playing in the background while you watch it on Facebook or on Twitter or whatever. If you bring them all up, you can actually still give me views, but you just got to be creative about it. Jeanette, what you doing there, Georgia? What's up, Georgia? Good to see you. Appreciate you being in the house. All right. Well, Jim Price is in the house. That's what we're doing here. Hey, says Courtney. We already said that's amazing. Now, Courtney, I will have to tell you, that is probably one of the fastest. And I don't know if Ed has been in there that fast, but that was probably one of the fastest getting in and being first. So, yeah, someone just noticed that I do have a cat. Where is it at? Oh, that's a cat. You can't really see it because it kind of blends. There's the two eyes right here. See the two eyes? See the two eyes right there? Yeah, that's a cat. So this is Jimmy's cat. Well, he's left two of them behind. But so anyway, I've got this cat, and then there's another cat, and they're identical, except for one has a little white patch right here, and the other one doesn't. So how often are you seeing the cat's chest? Never. So that's the one with the white on it. So you can't even see it in the camera. There's so little white. Would you not look at my finger? Don't look at my finger. Look, it's like looking at my finger. It's like I don't want you looking at my finger. Anyway, has a little tuft of white hair there. So anyway, oh, I see. Jeanette says she says hi, Edward, but Jim Price gets hi everybody. Oh no, I get it, Jeanette. I'm not on that list. Okay, all right. I'm sorry. I don't mean to interrupt you and Ed there and your little friendship there. I didn't realize I wasn't on the list, so cool stuff. Dave Glovin, good to see you, man. Anyway, Maggie O'Leary's showing up in the house. Oh, the cat's done, so we're out of here? Okay. Oh, thank you. That was good stuff. So, Edward's over there on Rumble saying hi and all that good stuff. So good stuff out there, by the way, guys. Thank you so much. We do have today's show labeled as midterms. Now, Trump has decided that he's going to go to Iowa tonight, and he's going to do a Trump rally tonight, which, okay, cool stuff. But honestly, I think he should have been doing these at least once a month for the last year. He should have started them out as a bit of a 2 or 3 months of celebration of what we're going to do. how we're going to do it, watch how they're going to do these things, telling people about what he's going to do and how everybody's going to react, and kind of give him the lay of the land, and then start about, June or July and August, start talking about the midterms, getting into the holiday, and then, maybe take November and December off. I get it. You want to take the holiday off, and happy Thanksgiving, happy Christmas, or Merry Christmas. Why do we say Merry Christmas, not Happy Christmas? Aren't we supposed to have a Happy Christmas? Happy Christmas to you guys. Yeah, here at the Jim Price Show, we say Happy Christmas. I don't know. Is there maybe I need to look that. Rhonda. Oh, Rhonda hasn't been here in a minute. Good to see. Oh, I get in all caps, Jim. Oh, wow, Jeanette. I'm sorry. Anyway, it says, spoiled Americans here, happy to have electricity again. Oh, no electricity, no sparky. Yeah, good stuff. Well, the idea that Trump could have been taking like the first, take Thursday, Thanksgiving and Christmas off, and then boom, January, bam, right in there. February, bam, right in there. And then, as we go into like March and April, he starts hitting 2, right? And then by the time he's in July, he's probably doing 3 a month. Maybe even 1 a week, right? Maybe small ones in the arenas. But he's hitting all the hard spots, right? He's hitting all the places he needs, getting people out there and getting them motivated. And so the point of that is that I think that that's where he was. But hey, he's had other fish to fry. He's, global peace, the whole thing. I just don't want the distraction of what happened last time when we had the impeachments and the non-stop view of the House chamber for hours and days and weeks on end of them going, and then Trump, when he pointed his finger at me, it made me feel small. It's like, it is proven childish. It is proven ineffective. It is proven to be nothing but a waste of time, and that's what they're okay with. They are not there to bid on their ideology. They're not there to make their ideology known, to convince people, to steal the hearts of people and say, listen, we have a better way, we have a better plan, so join our group, right? That's not what they do. They just know how to resist. So in other words, they're like little 3 and 5-year-old preschoolers who go around eating their boogers and putting their fingers in their butt all the time because it itches because they don't wipe good enough, and they're the ones complaining about an itchy butt. These are the preschoolers we're dealing with. This is the I don't want to take a bath. I don't want to go outside and play. I don't want to eat spaghetti. I don't want macaroni and cheese. I don't want a peanut butter and jelly sandwich. I don't want a Crustable. Or Uncrustable. You see what I'm saying? You see what I'm saying here? That's what we're fighting, guys. Okay, listen. Wait. Stop for a second. Stop. Let's say Gavin Newsom and Trump are running against each other right now. What policies, what vision, other than, I don't like that guy. What vision, what moment, oh my gosh, Gavin Newsom has got a message that Trump can't compete with, and I almost want to vote for Gavin because he's doing such a great job of seeing the future and laying out the plans for America. Oh, Gabby. The sad part of it is it's not. It's literally the people that have responsibility and self-accountability and have taken control of their own life and doing for themselves. And then there's the other ones who live on welfare, paint their hair blue, put nose rings in their face and their ears and everything else, and then go around going, I don't like the guy who tells me I can't. Nobody told you can't have blue hair. Nobody said you can't have rings and holes and shit all over your face and in your nose. But the problem is you have to be accountable for that fact that ring in your face, those tattoos on your face, clear down onto your tips of your fingers, the neck tattoos, it's going to limit your employment. There are employers that go in and employ employees that don't like employees looking like a clown. But that's the consequences you take. Like, oh, remember when I told you guys yesterday some more comes out every day? You guys just don't jump on jump on it right away. Just let it simmer for a minute. Well, Mr. Alex Peretti or whatever we're going to call the guy. First of all, CNN and MSNBC used AI to make him look more handsomer in his photo for work. So he has a photo for work, and they fixed his jawline a little bit and fixed his hair and gave him a little bit bigger chest. Yeah, that's the photo that CNN put out and MSNBC. And now, all across the internet, now we have AI forgetting to put the heads on the Border Patrol agents that were a part of the shooting. Because they went in and they're modifying the picture of him being shot with AI so that shows that he had nothing in his hands. Hey, Julie, good to see you. Howdy, friend, she says. Hey, Julie, we got to circle back around if we're going to be doing that float trip at the end of May. We ain't got much time. We really don't. This is the end of January. So you have February, March, April. So 1, 2, 3. You got 3 months. About 12 weeks. So I don't know how many 12 weeks everybody has, but putting together a float trip might be kind of close. It might make it kind of close. So anyway, Mr. Alex Peretti, we don't want to speak ill of the dead, right? We want to be respectful. I don't know how to say his name. It seems like everybody says it differently, so I'm trying to hit in the middle every time I say it. Well, just a week prior, he has medical records showing that he broke a rib engaging with an ICE agent when an ICE agent was doing an arrest the week prior. So this gentleman had already had contact with law enforcement. By the way, Minnesota. You know, over there in Minnesota, they're going to go right there, boy. In Minnesota, the state law says for your concealed carry permit to be legal and to be able to say that you're legally carrying it, when you are encountered with a police officer or any type of law enforcement, you are immediately to identify yourself as a concealed carry, that your card is in your pocket and your weapon is located where? That is the law. According to Mr. ICU nurse. By the way, guys, listen. Jeanette, please do not take this personal. This is not aimed at you. This is my personal experience in Wichita, Kansas. It has nothing to do with nurses and nothing to do with hospitals across the world. Just giving you my thing. I was in ICU for 6 weeks. There was only one nurse. Well, there was a second nurse, and she was like my overnight nurse at the one time. She was a little off, a little funny, quirky lady. But there was only one other nurse that I actually thought that genuinely treated me with compassion. The rest of them seemed like I was a hindrance, like I was bothering them, like the when I was telling them my pain levels, they thought I was lying. I just felt like I was completely just like some third world citizen. So I don't put ICU nurses on some type of pedestal. Now, granted, you want to be a nurse and deal with blood and poop and hearts and lungs and people snotting and throwing up and all the things that a human body does, congratulations. You're awesome. That is really cool. Now, can I handle the sight of blood? I've seen a lot of things in my life, so that's not a problem for me. But, nurses, you want to have that job? Go for it. Policemen, you want to have that job? Go for it. You know what you're signing up for. Fire department, EMS, school teacher, don't give me I didn't know it's going to be this hard if you watch the news. But the point of it is that they keep trying to say, well, he's an ICU nurse. Well, he's an ICU nurse. It's like, that doesn't make it specialer. I don't elevate somebody because of their job. I elevate them because of their actions and who they are as an individual and where their heart is. And if this individual already had a broken rib from the week prior, showed up with a gun and 2 magazines with a Sig Sauer and had it in his back, and then turns around and doesn't identify himself, engages with a cop when the cop is engaged with somebody else, and then doesn't identify that he has a gun on him when he's required to. Guys, this is just mistake. The problem with it is that, well, there may or may not have been mistakes on the law enforcement side. Again, I always say, guys, it seems like they always go a little too hard. It seems like they go a little too hard. They go a little extra. Like the guy in my front door, when he came in and I had my hands up in my living room on my first raid, and I had my hands above my head just like this, and he says, if you move, I'll blow your effing brains out. In my own house, in my own living room, as I opened the door for him. See, my point is, guys, is that there are times in humanity where we could do better. We could be the difference in this. We could be the difference makers. But too many times we run into things with emotion. We run into things that are panicked. We run into things that are flash, muscle, memory, reaction things. And by the way, guys, when a police officer says gun, 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 that is a very specific muscle memory technique that they use constantly to show how to handle a violent situation, handle someone that's on the ground. That is a problem because once that sound goes out, gun, 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 once that goes out, it is, man, again, if that gentleman knew Mr. Alex Preddy or whatever his name is, Predity or whatever it is, listen, you knew you were doing it wrong. You should have put your hands out. You shouldn't have resisted. First of all, maybe you decide you want to resist with the first guy. Okay? Maybe that's what you do. When you got 6 dudes on top of you, stop already. Stop already. You're not that cool. Okay? Now, as a gentleman with 7 rib fractures, 7 different fractures, okay, including, I think I have something up in the front here too. I am telling you what, man, last night was a rough night. I did not sleep well. But to be jumped on by 6 police officers with a broken rib, you know where my arms are going to be at? They're going to be behind my back. Would you put the cuffs on me because you're hurting my rib? You know what I'm saying? Like, you know what I mean? So, again, we're seeing these things that I just don't think we always realize that, man, when you start looking at the mistakes that Mr. Alex made, Preddy or whatever his name is, and then the idea that the AI stuff is out there, the churching up the photos for him and all this other stuff. And Trump did, in an interview today with Will Cain on Fox, he did say that the lady who was shot after trying to run over a police officer, well, her parents are like huge Trump fanatics. Huge Trump fanatics. So it sounds like she was radicalized and maybe even vaxxed. Sometimes you'll see that, hey, Nina Horton's here. Hey, Nina. Have I scared Jeanette off? Jeanette, what are you doing? Don't go away, Jeanette. I was kidding. Sat the ICU for 94 days with my husband. Got into an argument with one of his doctors because the doctor wouldn't order the test I requested to save my husband's life. He called social services, wow, within the hospital on me, ended up doing what I requested. My husband, Billy Rubin, went down and saved his life. Oh, man, yeah. Yeah. See, this is where I don't, I think, hey, man, I'm still here. Okay, Jeanette, I just want to make sure I didn't get you upset with me. I just, there are opportunities that we could have had in this whole situation with the ICU stuff and all this where I could have been, like, oh, man, and then the guy came in and he was like, hey, Jim, cool, let's get you under, let's make sure you're like this. And I'm like, hey, I'm doing really good. Guys, when I was doing those videos in the hospital and all that, when I was doing that, I was doing it, and I was in so much pain. I was trying to figure out when to do it and when to post it, and where I was in my least amount of pain to be able to do the thing. But if you guys were watching, like, my blood pressure and my heart rate, over 130 on my heart rate, 160 on an average kind of deal, or between 160 and 130 average, that's not healthy for a 54-year-old man for 6 days straight. But what I wanted to say is, like, hey, man, go to St. Francis. They're the best, man. They were so good. They made sure that I was in it, but yet I didn't get to have that conversation. I didn't get to talk about how great those doctors and nurses were. The only one I will tell you I did appreciate, there's 2 doctors I will tell you I appreciate. One, the doctor who, when I was laying there on the bed in St. Francis Trauma Unit, when they just brought me in off the bus, off the ambulance, and I'm laying there, and they roll the knives out and all the stuff out, and they're getting ready to intubate me and do all these things. The doctor, I started hearing them over here after they're asking me, hey, do you want us to do life-saving, do you want us to do heroic measures to save your life? Yeah, I'm 54, I got a broken rib. Yes, I want you to save my life. If we're going to be intubating you, if you bleed or start to bleed, are you willing to accept blood? Yeah. What do? Put water in me? And then it's like, oh, well, can we, when we resuscitate you, and I'm crying, I got all that stuff going on. My head's just going 100 different directions. But I hear this conversation over here in the corner, and I hear these doctors talking, and for some reason, I just started focusing over here. I felt like it was important. And then all of a sudden, I hear the one guy coming over, and I knew he was coming over to me, and I was, my spidey senses. And he says, sir, we've been looking at your x-rays. We looked at him in Andover. We looked at him here. And it looks like the lung is stabilized. It looks like it has stopped leaking. Yay. So I already had air in my chest cavity on this side over here, in the abdomen. And he said, we were thinking about waiting. I was like, yes, I don't want to be cut open. If we can wait at all, I don't want to be cut. He goes, well, are you sure? I'm like, yeah. Well, first of all, that's a chest tube, that's 7 metal plates, and a patch on my lung. That's 3 major surgeries. 3 major surgeries. And yet, here we are. I didn't have to do that. That was the miracle. That doctor came over. He was super cool. But they ran EKGs. Now, let me give you some. I forgot to tell you guys about this. This is something about AI. I want you guys to listen to me real quick. Okay, listen. Now, the doctors went and did an EKG. They had the shit all over my. Yeah, I think did they have them on my head? I don't remember if I had them on my head or not when I first went into the trauma unit. But I had them all. I had the stickers all over with the leads on and all that. And they did an EKG on me, and the doctor came in after I was upstairs in the ICU. He grabs the piece of paper. He's like, you hear that? He goes, you don't have a heart problem. They use that stupid AI. You don't have any. You got the best heart I've ever seen. You're doing great, man. There's nothing wrong with your sinus rhythms are good. You're doing this and that. He goes, that AI said you had an arrhythmia problem. You don't have an arrhythmia problem. And that's why those doctors can't. And this is what this doctor is saying. He says, they got to quit using that stuff. It doesn't work. He goes, they have to read the chart or read the little beep thing. He was an old school doctor, and he said, they don't know what they're talking about. Now, that's the 2 doctors in the entire situation that I will pick out and say those 2 guys had special moments for me, and I do remember those. And the doctor cardiologist comes in. He goes, man, what's up? Yeah, what's up, Mr. Price? How are we doing in there? He goes, yeah, these guys, they read this as with AI, and it's not even I'm like, yeah, let's do it, buddy. Let's not use AI. Let's use what we know as our built-up experiences to be able to treat people accurately. So I thought that was a quick moment for you there. I want to bring you on my show, Jonathan and Julie, in the morning. Oh, yeah, Jonathan. Yeah, definitely. That'd be great. What time? And do you want to do it Zoom or however? So get a hold of me. I'm not sure. Jonathan didn't have to put that out there. He put his phone number on the chat. So anyway, let's get back. EKGs are a pain in the ace, says Jonathan. Yeah, I agree with that. No, I want to tell you, man, there was a lot of things in there. Oh, and then they started, so after the 2 days of no food and no water, because I was on emergency notice for surgery, if my lung were to reopen and do all that stuff, they were having me on a moment's notice, and I was sipping water and no food for 2 days. Well, then when they said I could start having food, well, food just started showing up. So at 6 o'clock in the morning, there's a breakfast plate there. And I'm like, why am I up at 6 a.m.? Why do I got to go to work? Or what are we doing at 6 a.m. that I need to eat food at 6 a.m.? Like, what are we doing here? And then it wasn't anything that I wanted to eat. And then here comes lunch, and it's another whole pile of food, and it was nothing I wanted to eat. And I'm like, why is this a thing? But anyway, there just was a lot of simple things in that whole process that I just was like, They could have done better. Could have done better. So let's go back to the Trump talking about midterms and things like that. There is a lot of things that I think Trump could have been doing more. But again, he was doing the international stuff. He was doing all those things, trying to get as much through. Now, do I think Johnson is the right leader? Hell to the no. No to the yeah. No way. No this, no that. Whatever no version of no way is Johnson the right guy right now. I don't know what it is. By the way, we just spent another $500 million. You remember all those things that they were fighting about back in November when they shut the government down and they said they didn't want to do the abortion stuff and they didn't want to do the NGO stuff? Well, we just gave $500 million to all of that, and Trump's going to sign it. Oh, yeah, that measure was passed last week. Yeah, last Thursday or Friday, they passed a bill that put $500 billion into all the NGOs and all the abortions again. So, again, this is where it really scares me when I see this kind of stuff going on, that tells me that Johnson isn't the right leader, that someone was able to go out and write all this stuff up, and then here we are. It's absolutely unbelievable. We're still doing the same old shit we used to do. That's the problem. That's a problem. We're still blowing money on shit that we know that destroys our country. Guys, they're talking about turning off the money to the Border Patrol agents, right? Oh, wait, we all said know now how to control an agency by cutting their funding? But the problem is that the new funding that they're asking for doesn't actually hit until like next year sometime, because they still have the $80 billion that we gave them, or $800 billion, $80 billion we gave them last November after the big beautiful bill. So they have money to run on. There's a lot there. But my point of this is that when we see these people that are out here going, oh, we're fighting so hard for you, or, Doge, go, Elon, woo, woo. It's like, you guys waited till after the big, beautiful bill. You waited after the first of the year. You waited till the big storm was coming through. And then you guys went and spent $500 billion on NGO bullshit and abortions. This is what the problem is right there. That is where we get ourselves in absolute trouble. How many politicians getting kickbacks from those NGOs? All of them. All of them. I would say all of them. Because I don't see any of them not getting it. Massey. Massey is probably one of the cleanest guys I know out there. He did have a little bit of an agenda sometimes. He has a little bit of a chip on his shoulder. But for the most part, he really is. Thomas Massey from Kentucky, he is a homesteader from the original OG. He actually is the original homesteader. He actually lives off-grid. His wife and his kids in Kentucky don't have power, and they don't have internet. Yeah. Thomas Massey, you guys look up Thomas Massey as a congressman. And he's probably one of the ones that I would probably, I would probably go into battle with, just because I know he's on the right ideology. I don't know if he's physically able to carry a gun or do anything, or actually whatever, but I would follow him into battle because I know his heart's in the right place. I know that he believes those things because he lives it. He lives that homesteader life where he sees that you can have a minimal impact on the environment around you and still live a fruitful life, including being a congressman. See, that's where I think we miss that, how easy it is to get into that. But when you think about dialing your life back and not having this instant energy and not having the instant water and not having all these things, let me give you something, guys. Let me give you something on how privileged you really are. Did you know less than 100 years ago? Listen to me for a second here. Listen to me. Less than 100 years ago, people did not have hot water available for showers, or really tubs unless they heated up a pot of water. We can go in. I got an 85-gallon hot water tank right in here in my laundry room. That's a storage room, and over there past the stairs is the laundry room on the other side over there. And then there's, anyway, Jimmy's room when he's here, living room. But over there's an 85-gallon hot water tank that you can get in there and pretty much burn the skin right off your body. And it will run for as long as you want. Like, it won't run out of hot water. Think about how great our lives are. Think about how awesome our lives are, that we literally don't have to work to turn the heat on. We just, and if you have a few dollars, you pay the gas bill, whoosh, natural gas heater kicks right in. But see, there's something about when you have to go out and you have to log your own tree and you have to season it so that next year, not this year, but next year you have firewood. And the firewood you're burning this year is from last year and the year before. You're 2 to 3 years ahead of your wood chopping because you have to let the wood dry out. You have to let it crystallize so it's not wet and moist, and it burns slow and it doesn't do a good job. See, when you let that wood season out and you let that wood go gray, and like in hedge, it's got that blonde gold color to it and that tan color in the oak. If you let that go gray after you season it, it's a completely different burn. But again, guys, this is where I'm saying, like, we think we have to live this life of luxury, but in reality, not even 100 years ago, maybe even some areas of America 50 years ago, there were still people figuring it out. So I don't think they really realize, like, a lot of us grew up in an era that like Marge and Charlie. So Charlie, he grew up in Rock, Kansas, which is just about an hour southeast of here. And you go down to Rock, Kansas, there's a few houses left there. The school's gone now. His folks' house is still kind of there. It's mostly dilapidated. Somebody lives in it, but it's not very well taken care of. But he told me about how he would ride his horse to school. He was 80. That means like 70 to 60 years ago, he was still riding a horse to school. They would go out to the milk barn and they would use the well hose to spray each other down for their showers or baths. So they were using well water in the middle of the winter, in the middle of the summer. It didn't matter. So when we think about, like, if a guy like Thomas Massey says he can live off grid but yet still be your congressman, what's your excuse for not slowing your life down a little bit? Anyway, I got to get off that subject there. Oh, Jonathan says a nice warm bed and a warm fire and food in your belly. I'm a happy camper. Oh, absolutely. Absolutely. Oh, Maggie says, I live in a tiny home on wheels. Love the frugal, simple life, not off grid, but rid of so much stuff. It's exhilarating. Well, absolutely, Maggie, and I get that. And that's something that we've talked about on the Jim Price Show, and I've talked with a lot of other people about doing the community of things, and even talking about putting another building on my property here to go ahead and if people are wanting to come in and live here, allowing for that opportunity to have a space of their own and live where we share the duties of the property, meaning making sure the garden is tended to, making sure the chickens are fed and taken care of, and the eggs are collected, and then the greenhouse is going, and some other this is and that. So that's what, guys. That's where I think we obviously missed a lot of this. This McMansion. We live one person in a house, two people in a house. Guys, my house. I mean, if I honestly got really down to it, I could have. I've got four bedrooms, 2 baths, and just in the main house. And then I could do another building, another 2,000 square foot living space, and then 3 900 square foot living spaces, plus a shop, and still have plenty of room for the garden and the yurt and the greenhouse and all kinds of stuff. So my point is, guys, and oh, by the way, Maggie, we're actually going to put in spaces for tiny homes along the south driveway over here. So in reality, if you want to do a little glamping or just hanging out, we would actually have a space for you right here on the property where we're going to have glampers set up so people, if they do want to live in something small like that or temporary or stay for a week or two like a vacation, they could do that. But we could also Airbnb them. those kind of things. But that is part of the business plan of what I want to do with this property is that I want to put in 3 glampers, a 2,000 square foot living space above the shop, and then 3 900 square foot living spaces that will have a walk deck above it, and it'll actually be really cool. But those are the things that when we talk about tiny homes, we talk about community, we talk about coming together. This is the stuff where we get right down to the roots of who we are, guys. You can solve a lot of problems by coming together. You can solve a lot of financial problems by joining together. If the thing is, the reason I'm saying do this in my backyard is not because it'll make me $1 million. It has nothing to do with that. Putting the buildings up, I got to do all that work. I got to make that happen. I got to do all those things. But when we come together like that, it limits our exposure, right? So if everybody's putting, let's say I had 7 people on the property, $7,000, everybody pays $1,000 a month for the utilities and the food and everything else is all in $1,000. Well, now suddenly my bills go way down. Your bills will go way down, but your elevation of life, your elevation of status, your elevation of care, your elevation of community goes off the charts. And that's what I'm shooting for, and that's one of the things I kind of renewed a little bit talking yesterday. But we need to think about how we can come together and get closer and be better for each other, and that's kind of my first way of doing it. There are communities across the country doing something very similar to what I'm talking about. It's nothing new. I'm going to do it my way on my property first, and then if this works out, then this property can then be the copy for doing it in other places, doing it either other places in Kansas or Missouri or parts of Oklahoma, whatever. But that's where I think that we need to come together in a way that allows us to kind of get rid of the ego and who owns what and what the profit of this and that is. And we get down to what is the quality of life? A fire and a friend. Right now we got all this snow, we got all this stuff out here in Wichita, and having the fire going, having community, doing the things, talking, saying, ooh, the snow's really piling up out there, and talking and sharing soup and stew or chili or whatever. But see, but we're all living in our own little houses, and we're all segregated, and we don't come together very easily. And that's why I want to change that. All right. Are kids allowed? Absolutely, Jeanette. Absolutely. No, this is a family thing. This is not for elderly. This is not for singles. This is actually for family. This is actually for people to come. And if the kids are here, they're going to be expected to be homeschooled, by the way. And if you are bringing kids like my grandkids, I want my grandkids here so that they can actually get the homeschooling version with folks that are here and the different versions of knowledge. And I think that that's how we amplify the future. But no, I'm all about as many people coming in as possible. And if the kids just make it better. Kids just make it better. They just do. And it wouldn't take much to really make this project pop off in an instant. So now I know the $1,000 a month seems like quite a bit, but it depends on where you're at in life. But at the end of the day, if all your bills were all in, internet, food, water, gas, electricity, all in for $1,000 a month, sign me up. Because I know what I pay to keep this place going by myself here. Can you imagine how great that would be just to be $1,000 a month? So anyway, all right, so moving on, like I said, now Tom Holman is heading up to Minnesota, and it sounds like he is already there, and he has already met with the governor and the mayor. And so that is a big deal going on. Now, the mayor and the governor are out there trying to still pound their chest. Oh, we don't like ice. Oh, we're so big and tough and bad and badass. Listen to me for a second, guys. I'm not a fight guy. I don't like fighting. I have fist fight and all that stuff. It's not my blood. It's not who I am. But I'm gonna go with, if I was in a room with Timmy. If I was in a room with that guy and he got to spouting off saying the stupid shit that I've seen him say on TV, I would physically be like shaken by like, why is this guy saying such stupid shit, and who put him in charge? Shut your damn mouth. And the same thing with the mayor. Both of these guys act like they've never been in a fist fight. Both of these guys sound like they've never been popped in the mouth for saying stupid shit. Getting corrected in a locker room, getting corrected on the ball field, getting corrected out there at your buddy's house when you were sleeping over and said some stupid shit and somebody had popped you in the mouth and got it over with. These guys are really, really, they show that they lack any type of accountability at all. Any type of accountability. And that to me is scary. Those guys are out there running their mouth saying stuff that it's like, God dang, guys, you really got to shut your stupid mouth. By the way, there was an audio left on a ICE agent's phone, which is kind of crazy that people think that they can get away with... I hope Holman has cameras there. Yeah, I would too. But why is it these people... let me ask you a quick question. Let's do a survey out there. Does anybody think it is legal or illegal to say, I'm going to kill you, Mr. President? I'm going to kill you, Mr. ICE agent. I'm going to kill you, Mr. Police officer. I'm going to kill you, Mr. Isn't it illegal to say that? Are you allowed to say, I want to kill you, or I'm going to kill you? Isn't that premeditated? Isn't that what that's doing? I don't know, guys. I don't know. Asking. Bren, we are the blessed nation of the world. So many people are unappreciative. Yeah. Absolutely, Brand. That's absolutely correct on that. And Edward says Jim lives in a really great area, and we do. We actually, where I'm at right here, there's an equestrian estates across the street. There's Clydesdales, and there's amazing jumping horses. They have riding lessons right across the street. You can watch the kids and adults learn how to jump horses right across the street. I don't have to own it or pay for it, manage it, clean it up. It is the best horse ownership on earth. Anyway, but they got an amazing barn over there, and just get to watch. When the snow was going, the draft horses, the big Clydesdales, the big draft horses for the police department are actually across the street, and they had the snow laying on their backs, and they were just out there just acting like it was another day. No big deal. It's what we do. It's like, wow. So anyway, but that's a great part of it. And right here, we're a mile away from the turnpike. You can get on I-35 a mile away, and you could be to Kansas City 2.5 hours, Oklahoma City 2.5 hours. Sorry, Oklahoma City's that way, Kansas City's that way. 2.5 hours Oklahoma City, 2.5 hours to Kansas City, 2.5 hours to Tulsa, 3 hours to Springfield, 6 hours to Branson, 5 hours to Dallas. I mean, we are pretty good. We're pretty good right here. It's a pretty good location. But anyway, good stuff. And I, I've been working on the house too. So equine therapy is incredible. I love horses, says Julie. Absolutely. And Jeanette says the same thing. She says she loves horses. It is a really, really cool day. Maggie says, days are yore. There was a knock on their door and arrested for threatening comments. Days of yore. Oh, I see what you're doing, Maggie. Sorry about that. Yeah, Curly May is here. What's up, Canada? I see you being all sliding in the DMs over here. Not direct messages. I guess we're in the open messages here. But, yeah, I see what you're saying, Maggie. Yeah, you used to be able, when you say, hey, I'm going to kill you, people showed up at your door. And we've got people leaving voicemails. Now, here's the problem with it, guys. This is where it tells me how childish these men are. And this is actually a man on the thing. And I'm going to see if I can just read. I don't want to play it. I just want to read some of what they said. But it is literally the most pointless conversation I think I've ever heard, because it doesn't say anything. It just calls names over and 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 over. It just keeps calling names. You're an effing racist pig. You should effing kill yourself. I hope your wife dies. I hope your mom and dad die. Well, if everybody dies, so what are we doing here? Like, we're having this, what are we, 5? I tied your shoelaces together and you got mad at me on the playground? Like, this is what we're doing. I hope you have the most miserable life. I hope you get hit by a bus. I hope you're paralyzed. I hope your wife leaves you and starts getting effed by a BBC. I mean, this is why are any of these insults? I mean, why is this even like, you're a traitor to the American people, to the values that made our very country. You should kill yourself. You are effing disgusting. I hate you. Everyone hates you. You're an effing murderer, and all your friends are effing murderers, and your bosses are a bunch of pedophiles. Kill yourself. What does this do? What does this do? You got a hold of some dude's phone number, and you think you like did the block thing where I don't know. I don't even know what the thing where you do like the hashtag, whatever it is, 71 or I don't know. And you do the whole, I blocked my number so you can't find it. Do you think that is exactly all the further that call identification goes? You don't think that AT&T and Verizon and all those guys don't have a way of going back and finding out what cell phone called that exact number at that time and then track it back to your dumb ass? But what were you saying? What of substance did you say? What in here was like, I hope you get hit by a bus. You're a traitor. To what? To your ideology that people that should be continuing to suck off of our country with welfare and burning our society because they cannot assimilate themselves to our country? What are you talking about? You're effing disgusting. I hate you. You hate a person you've never met? Someone that's never done anything to you? I don't hate Tim Walz. I think his actions are stupid. I think they're destructive in a lot of ways, but I don't hate him. His actions make me just, question his morality of things, that he's so insecure that he has to placate all the time and try to get people to like him by doing weird shit. It used to be *69 to trace a call. Yeah, Maggie, I remember that. Hey, Karen, good to see you. You need to find the video of the nurse in Virginia. She recorded a video inside the hospital telling people ways to take out ice. Needless to say, she has been put on a leave pending an investigation. It was a doozy. Ugh, golly, I could imagine, right? Ugh. Nikki's here. Nikki Snyman, good to see you. Is it Snyman? Am I doing that right? I'm not very good with last names. I really like to chop them up for some reason. So, good to see you. Thank you for being a part of the show, Nikki Simon. Yeah. Yep. All right. So, I just, when I hear these people and their arguments and what they're doing and the whistleblowing and the banging of the pans and the boards and the megaphones, and I like the one guy that he took his mask off. I don't have anything that resembles a mask. He's like, he's got his mask on like this. Hey, you're a McGabagoo. It was just an N95 mask, but the problem is, dude, you just pulled your mask off. We know who you are now. Oops. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Diana's here too. Diana Arcott, good to see you. Thank you so much for being a part of the show. And, any veterans here, Horses and Heroes in Leavenworth is an incredible resource. Highly recommended. Oh, that's very cool, Julie. That's awesome. But anyway, this whole idea of what we're going through and the midterms and all these things, I do hope. Hey, Pat Meads, good to see you, man. Thank you for being here. I do hope that we are able to really keep a hold of the sanity of things. Keep this legislative circus down to a minimum where we're not out here just running around trying to impeach Trump for the next year and a half. Because that's what we're going to end up doing. And that's what I don't want, is that as soon as we go into this November, this election that's coming up, the midterms, which I have a new governor's election coming up. I have all these things coming up in the state of Kansas. Because here's why, guys, you know why they do off-year elections on this? Is because the turnout is so poor that they can get any candidate they want through there. You guys know that, right? You guys know that why they do the midterms the way they do? That these states and all these things have all these midterm elections. It's not a lot, but it's quite a few, but it seems to be in very targeted states. They changed the legislation to be an off year. Like we have mayor's elections in April in Kansas. Yeah, last April, before last year, right after we have a presidential election, we turn around and we have a mayor's election in April in Kansas. We have a spring election here. And they do this stuff, like right now, we're getting ready to, in March, we're getting ready to vote on a sales tax hike here in Wichita. It's on March something or other. And it's like, why are we doing this in off years? What, you couldn't wait till November? You couldn't wait till November to put it on the ballot with everything else. You had to do it now. Special election. We're going to do a special election, a special off-year, off-cycle election to do a 1% sales tax. So we're going to spend millions of dollars to do an off-year, off-schedule election in March to raise the taxes by 1%. We're going to spend millions to do that. Yeah, the city's having to. We're doing all this. No, we're putting the money out for it. Why? Oh, there you go. That's where it all just stops. Why? I don't know. It's what we always do. That's what we do, bro. It's what we do. It's how we do it around here. But that's the part where it just drives me absolutely bonkers, and we can't have the honest conversation about what they're doing. So they do them in spring elections like that. They do in off-year elections like that. So most of the general public who really does sway the vote is not participating. Did you know that only 1% of the Wichita population, listen to me, I didn't say registered voters. It's actually less than 1% of the Wichita population showed up. I think it's actually like 0.5%. I'll go with 1. 1% of the Wichita population voted for the mayor. Just let that sink in for a minute. The April election we had last year, right after we just had a presidential election where they could have already had the election with the presidential election. You know, we have the city mayor and a couple city council seats go up. But less than 1% of the Wichita population voted for that. But we had to pay for a special election in those off years and those off-cycle elections. The spring elections are very expensive. See, we could wait and do it with the 2-year cycles, right? We could do, a November election during presidential, then do a midterm. No, we do spring elections here. It's all about the manipulation of votes, guys. Welcome to Kansas. Set your clocks back to 20 years. I know. They do a great job with that, don't they? Oh, looks like we're out of time, guys. I apologize for that. I was going to talk about a little bit more about some this weird stuff. And by the way, guys, I don't even say this is the liberals anymore. I don't say this is the left anymore. I don't say this is the Democrat. This is a completely separate, unhinged part of society that's doing things that has nothing to do with party. It's actually really more just being destructive. Because they are not leaders, they don't know what they're doing, and so they just do weird stuff just to do something. And that, in a lot of cases, is obviously where we find ourselves in a lot of trouble, because they just do shit just to do it. All right, guys, been great seeing you. Good stuff out there. Remember, we do have a lot of stuff going on. Be mindful of the Trump rallies going on. Be mindful of the midterms. Get involved in your local elections. Find if there's a precinct head position in your area to fill. If you got, like Ed, you could do precinct head. It's very easy to do. It's really not that hard. But you know what? The precinct head is actually the very first line of defense in our voting. Precinct heads are very, very important. But you know what? Most of the Democrat positions are full. The Republicans aren't. Yeah, and they get to go in there and they get to put their fingers on everything with nobody watching. We got to do better than that. All right, guys, been great seeing you. Good stuff out there. So good. Brent says it's a federal felony against the president. Yeah. Well, you get against the president, say you're going to kill him. Well, I don't know. Must not be for ICE agents. Who knew? All right, guys, that's going to be about it for me. Remember the 10% we do for our neighbor, our community, our county, our city, our state, our federal government. The more you do for them, the less they have to do for you. Learn how to be selfless and not so damn selfish. The world will be a far better place. Nancy and Hillary Clinton showed us how to be selfish little pieces of crap, right? Don't be them. Be selfless. Do more for others in the world around you than you ever expect in return. Remember, hold the line, hold fast, do not give up, do not give in. We will win. I promise. I make promise I can't keep. Guys, you've always been the answer out there. Remember that Constitution, it always limits the government, but never limits you. You have all the authority. You have all the power. We are a constitutional republic, a constitutional representative republic. We say the Pledge of Allegiance, one nation under God, right? Yeah? I pledge allegiance to the republic for which it stands. One nation under God. Undividable, undivisible, right? Undividable. Can't separate us, okay? That's where we get it wrong. Come together, folks. Quit fighting with each other. Be a community. Be better. And we'll do more for each other very soon. All right, guys. Harry Karen Walker, good to see you. Thank you for being here. She shows up right at the very end. Karen Walker, hi. All right, guys, that's about it for me. Thank you so much for everything you guys are doing out there. I'm Jim Price, the Jim Price Show Daily Update. You guys all be good to each other out there, and I'll see you guys tomorrow.